Hey guys, it's Danny. Now, a few weeks ago, I shared a recipe for cauliflower bagels, and you all seemed to really enjoy that video. So I thought it would be fun to experiment with another cauliflower-based recipe, which is why today I am showing you a cauliflower grilled cheese. Now, essentially, we're gonna use the cauliflower to make the bread, and then we'll turn it into a grilled cheese sandwich. So do me a favor and give this video a big thumbs up if you are enjoying these cauliflower-based recipes as much as I think you are. So the first thing you need to do is choose your cheese. And it's very important here that you choose a cheese that you really enjoy. Now, I am using a shredded cheddar cheese because number one, I love the color contrast that it has with the cauliflower. And number two, I love the way it melts into the sandwich and the flavor. But really, pick whichever one you enjoy the most. I find some of the best melting cheeses other than the cheddar are Gouda and Munster. So once you've got your cheese all picked out and ready to go, then you'll need to rice your cauliflower. So you want to get a nice big head of cauliflower, give it a good rinse under some cold water, get it nice and clean. Then you're going to trim off the stem and cut it into florets. Now from here, I'm going to pop it into a food processor, and we're going to grind that up until we have a nice fine sand-like texture. Now, if you were working with a smaller food processor, you would just work in batches until you worked through all the cauliflower. The goal is to have about 4 cups of riced cauliflower when you're all done. So let's chat store-bought riced cauliflower for a moment, shall we? I am sure many of you are wondering, hey, can I just buy the pre-riced cauliflower from the freezer or the produce section of my grocery store? And while in theory it sounds like that should work totally fine, I'm not 100% sure. Because if you notice the cauliflower that I just riced, it's super fine. It's like sand. And usually the cauliflower that's riced at the grocery store is a lot coarser. So my concern there is that it wouldn't bind as well when you try to form the bread. But like I said, I haven't actually tested this myself. So if you decide to go for it, come down to the comments below and let us know how it goes. So I've got all of my riced cauliflower in a nice big bowl, and to that I'm adding 2 lightly beaten eggs, a half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and a little bit of salt and pepper. Gently mix that all together, making sure that all the ingredients are combined, and you'll see that it kind of comes together and forms a dough. And I use that term loosely. So we're gonna bring this over to the stove and grill up our sandwiches. Now, in most of the recipes I saw for the cauliflower grilled cheese, people made like really big grilled cheese sandwiches, but I find that the dough is very delicate and it's a lot easier to work with when you keep the sandwiches a little bit smaller and a little bit thinner. So what I've got here is a medium-sized nonstick pan. I'm gonna have that heating over a medium-low heat. You don't want the heat to be too high because while we want the outside of the sandwich to get nice and brown, we need the inside to cook, and we don't want the outside to burn in the meantime. And then you need to grease up your pan. You could do this with cooking spray, coconut oil. I am using a little bit of pastured butter. Trust me when I tell you, you need that sucker to be greased up. Do not skimp on this, guys, because the cauliflower bread is a little bit delicate when it's cooking up, and if it sticks, you are gonna be totally doomed when it comes to the flip. Now, for each piece of bread that I'm forming, I scoop up a 1/4 cup of the cauliflower dough, and then I just free form it into a patty in my hand, and I gently squeeze each one just to get off any excess water. If there's any water that can drip off, go ahead and let it drip off because this, again, helps for the bread to bind. Gently pop that in the pan, make one more for 2 slices of bread, and then I set my timer for 5 minutes and use a spatula to free form these into little squares so they look like little pieces of bread. Now these are gonna cook in the pan for 5 minutes. The bottom's gonna get nice and brown. The cauliflower in the middle is gonna steam up and cook through, and then they're gonna be ready for the flip. Now, note to self. This is not a project of perfectionism, my friends. The dough is delicate and it might crack and you might have a few crumbles when you try to flip, but don't use that as a reason to stop or think that it's not gonna work. I'll show you what I mean. After 5 minutes, you're gonna get a nice big flexible spatula and you're gonna get under that piece of cauliflower bread like a boss. You're gonna get under there knowing that it's gonna flip over successfully. So it's like firmly but gently, under and flip. and then you're gonna repeat. Under and flip. Now, if either pieces crumbled or cracked like mine did here, don't worry about it. Just kind of reform it with your spatula, send it a little love, and know that your sandwich is gonna work out anyway. Set your timer for another 3 minutes, and once it's browned up on the other side, we're ready to add our cheese. So put a nice heaping pile of cheese right in the middle. I have about an ounce of cheese here. And then take the other slice of bread and place the bottom side, the part that was still hot in the pan, on top of the cheese. That's gonna help it to melt. Once the cheese has melted, your grilled cheese is ready to go. So get it out of the pan and let it sit for just a couple of minutes, because once it's not boiling hot, the bread actually does firm up a little and it really does hold together. And FYI, if you make your sandwiches the same size that I made my sandwiches, you should be able to get 4 grilled cheese sandwiches out of the deal. So go ahead and repeat what we just did 3 more times. After it has cooled down just a bit, go ahead and slice it in half and you are ready to enjoy your cauliflower grilled cheese sandwich. And as you can see, the bread really does hold together. And definitely not a traditional grilled cheese sandwich, but very delicious. From the bread, I'm getting all of the flavors that we added, so the Italian seasoning and the garlic with a little bit of salt, and then that delicious cheddar cheese in the middle. In my personal opinion, if you wanna have some fun in the kitchen, definitely a recipe worth experimenting with. And one last tip for you guys, because I had tested these a few times, I stored the leftover in an airtight container right in my fridge, and I found that rather surprisingly, they are also quite delicious cold right out of the refrigerator. So just a little FYI. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe, like, and share this video with anyone else you know who's trying to keep things healthy and yummy. And when you give this recipe a try, be sure to snap a picture and tag me on Instagram and on Facebook so I can see all the deliciousness that you're cooking up in your very own kitchens. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Dani Spies. I'll see you back here next time with some more clean and deliciousness. Cheers. Hey guys, it's Dani, and whoop, 3, 2. Hey guys, it's Dani now. So I thought it would be fun to let's just take that from the top. 1, 2, 3. Hey guys, it's Dani, and listen. 1, 2, 3. Hey guys,